For such a cherished human right, there sure are a lot of us who don't understand it. So here are 5 misunderstood things about free speech. Number 1, free speech is more than the First Amendment. We Americans tend to treat the concept of free speech as synonymous with the First Amendment to our Constitution, which states that Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. I myself, when discussing this issue, have often pointed out that the First Amendment defines the relationship between citizens and their government, not citizens and each other. But the concept of free speech is much broader than the First Amendment to the Constitution of my country. And, just as importantly, it's much more complex than the I should get to say whatever I want principle that is promoted by certain people on the internet. Number 2, it's not speech without consequence. Respecting free speech doesn't mean that there can't be negative consequences for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. If I'm making racist or misogynistic comments online and my boss finds out about it and fires my ass, that doesn't mean that my boss doesn't respect free speech. If someone else sees me making bigoted comments and calls me out on it, that doesn't mean that they don't respect free speech. Respecting disagreement is a crucial part of the concept of free speech, but respecting disagreement doesn't mean respecting every disagreeing opinion, no matter how ignorant or toxic that opinion. Bigots with poor judgment are not a protected class, and there is no moral or legal principle requiring anyone else to put up with it. Number 3, it doesn't guarantee you a platform. Respecting free speech also means respecting the rights of others to moderate their own spaces. I'm free to say whatever I want, but someone else is also free to decide that they don't want me to say it in a venue they control. This can be especially true if what I have to say is not particularly original, informed, or relevant to the purpose the moderator means to serve with that platform. Free speech doesn't magically impart value to anything I might say. The value of what I have to say, beyond my own opinion of it, is determined by those who hear it. And on that subject, number 4, it doesn't entitle you to be a bully. Sometimes the noble concept of free speech is invoked for the most petty reasons imaginable. I've seen people assert their freedom of speech after offending someone with an insult. I've seen people assert their freedom of speech after it became clear that what they were saying was obviously hurtful to the person they were saying it to. I've seen people assert their freedom of speech to justify continuing to aggressively pursue a conversation with someone who clearly did not want to talk to them. Just as others can impose consequences for speech they find unacceptable or exercise discernment over who is allowed to speak on platforms they control, I can refrain from speaking out of respect for the circumstances or the sensitivities or concerns of others, even if I really want to say something. Free speech and self-control are not mutually exclusive. Number 5, it doesn't obligate others to listen to you. There are those who believe that respecting free speech means being willing to grant a hearing to anyone and everyone who has something to say about anything. But if that's how free speech actually worked, it would be socially acceptable for anyone to interrupt anyone else and begin an interaction without the other person's consent that they would then be obliged to continue until the person who started it was satisfied. And if you're watching this video as someone who thinks that that's how free speech ought to work, that the people you want to talk to should be morally compelled to listen to you, might I suggest that you're not really concerned with people respecting free speech, but rather with people indulging your speech. And if people don't seem to be all that interested in what you have to say, maybe that's not their problem. Maybe it's yours. The hardest part is picking only 5. Catch you next time. Hey folks, hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching.